and a lot of that stuff is not very fun. But you know that if you're here today on day number 2, you know that in order to grow and in order to really get to where you want to go, you're gonna have to look at some of that stuff. And like I said in day number 1, it's so important to look at that stuff because you can get all of the training and all of the, you could be on paper, you could be the best teacher that there ever is, right? Not that there's such a thing as that, but you could know all the stuff. And if you haven't done the inner work, then you're just not gonna be able to get to where you wanna go because you're always gonna be holding yourself back. And I'll also tell you this, that there's constantly going to be new things that come up as you're a yoga teacher, and especially as you are building your own business, because believe it or not, as a yoga teacher, you are a business owner. And I know that that's kind of scary to some people to hear, but you really are a business owner of your yoga business as soon as you graduate, maybe even before you graduate, technically, because you're starting to share your journey and people are watching your journey and things like that. So you are a business owner. And I know a lot of you, most of you that are in this training are already yoga teachers. You've taken a 200-hour yoga teacher training, and maybe you're thinking about, building your business more or getting a 500. I don't know where you're at, but I'm so glad that you're here either way, because you can just learn so much by looking at these things that have been holding you back. And I really hope to help you all do that. All right, so today we are talking about how to turn your perceived limitations or shortcomings into assets. All right, so in day 1, we uncovered a lot of the things that our inner mean girl are saying to us, right? This is what I start with the email. It says, if anyone knew the real you, why would they take a yoga class from you? After all, you can't do all the yoga poses perfectly. You don't have a huge Instagram account full of handstands and tons of followers, right? Who's gonna take you seriously? Who's gonna take you seriously if you aren't a size 2? Who's going to take you seriously if you are whatever ethnicity you are? Who's going to take you seriously if you started a yoga teacher training, if you got certified when you were 46? I just saw that one recently. Who's going to take you seriously if you don't know all the Sanskrit yet? Who's going to take you? Do you see how this list can go on and on forever? And I hope that you, by understanding that you're not the only one who has this inner mean girl in your head that's telling you all of these reasons why you can't be a good yoga teacher and why you shouldn't even go for it and why you shouldn't even try, you're not alone, okay? I would say pretty much everybody that goes through a yoga teacher training, they have a voice telling them something similar. Okay, something that's just hitting them in that raw spot, just like it hits you. It might not be saying the same thing, but it makes you feel the same way. It makes you feel inferior. And, you look around on social media and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I can see why they have a whole bunch of followers because they look this certain way. They can do all of these things a certain way. But here's the thing. I mean, if you're comparing yourself to me, first of all, please don't do that. I am me, and I'm very obviously me, right? I'm gonna cuss. I'm gonna make jokes in class. I'm not gonna cuss in class. Although I do cuss in one of my classes because it's at a rehab facility and they love it, and it really helps me to connect with them actually. But normally, no, I would say do not cuss in your yoga classes. But it's just really important to realize that I didn't go from point A to point, I don't know, wherever I am right now as a yoga teacher overnight. This has taken me almost 16 years of teaching yoga, okay? And that's why I love leading these boot camps, so that I can help you to get, maybe not to M, from A to M, but help you to skip some of those steps that I had to go through where I felt like a piece of crap loser who was an imposter, right? I felt like an imposter. Who am I to teach yoga? So I just want to kind of shoot a couple of these down, okay? So one of them says, I don't know enough anatomy. Okay, this is a very common one. While yes, it is important to learn anatomy, you guys, what I teach is something called intuitive anatomy. As long as you know alignment and you know how the body should generally move and look and feel, those are the kinds of concepts that your students are gonna understand. Your students are not anatomy experts. I've gone to a class before where the teacher, they maybe knew I was a teacher and maybe they were nervous, and so they were saying all these anatomical things, and they lost me in like the first 5 minutes because they were like naming all the bones in the foot or whatever, and I'm just like, dude, I did not know I was coming to an anatomy lesson today. So it totally kind of took me out of the practice. Okay, so don't feel like you have to know everything. I sure don't know it. I'm no anatomy expert. That's not how I teach. That's not my style. It's not my jam. Okay, but I do know how things are supposed to feel and look in the body. And so that is how I translate that to my students, and they love it. All right, so just a couple more. And I see a few people have said thank you for being real. And you guys, this also didn't happen overnight. Me being able to show up as myself and be like okay with cussing and okay with all the stupid things my face does and be okay with whatever, it didn't happen overnight. Okay, but the thing is that I felt the fear and I did it anyway. It doesn't look like never feeling fear. That's not the thing. I feel fear all the time, but I step into it and I do it anyway because I know where I want to go and I know I have to step into it. Nobody's going to knock on my door and be like, oh, we found you, Crystal. We found you. You're what we've been looking for. Right? That's not going to happen. I have to put myself out there and I have to do the work in order to get to where I want to go. And you just need to find a community like this one. Stay in this community, right? Make sure that you're in the Yoga Goddess Collective if you're not in there already. Find a community that will support you, that will lift you up, that you can say, hey, I'm having kind of a rough day today, guys. All right, so there it is. That's it for today, is to turn your, whatever your perceived limitations is to assets. How do you do that? This is how you do that, you guys. People don't go to your class, and this is a very big secret. People don't go to your class because you're a perfect yogi. They don't. That's not why they go to your class. That's not why they go to anybody's yoga class ever in the history of yoga. Right? Maybe, I want you to think about, have you been to a class or taken a class online with somebody who you thought was the epitome of yoga, right? Like they are the epitome of yoga teachers. Did you love that class? Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Okay? But maybe you didn't. I've taken classes with really big Instagram people and I was just like, a lot of that wasn't safe. They didn't really know a lot about alignment. I didn't like that class. I'm not going to take another one. Just because people look a certain way on social media and portray themselves in a certain way on social media does not a yogi make. You know what I mean? And this is something that I say quite often. If you've been with me for a while, you know this. You can be amazing at gymnastics and still be a shitty person. Just because you can do amazing, crazy yoga poses doesn't make you a good yogi in your heart. Okay? So, my point is, your students will resonate with you because they see some of themselves in you. And I want you to hear that because that is true. They're not coming to your class because, oh my God, she's so thin and she has the perfect body. Oh, I'm going to take her class. Because you know why? They're not going to come to your class because that's going to make them feel like shit. Because they don't look like that, right? So if you're older, they're going to come to, if they're older, they're going to come to your class if you're older because you make them feel good about themselves. You empower them. If you can do it, they can do it. So you think you're a little bit overweight or fat. People will come to your class because they resonate with you. You make them feel comfortable and safe, and it empowers them that they can do yoga. Now, I know I'm being a little bit in your face, you guys, but you have to hear this because your inner mean girl is going to be like, well, that might be true for them, but it's not true for you because you still suck, right? That's what your inner mean girl is going to tell you. But it's all a fucking lie. She's a fucking liar. Okay, and I'm sorry to use tough language. No, I'm not. Who am I kidding? But she is a liar. Okay, so what else you got? You don't know all the Sanskrit. Who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit if you don't know the Sanskrit. Come on, who cares? They don't know the Sanskrit. Like, your students are gonna be like, actually, it's called Virabhadrasana too. Okay, then they can just not come to your class anymore. You know what I mean? Do you need that person in your class? No, you don't need that person in your class. Nobody's gonna come to your class and be like, so yeah, you labeled this class as a beginner, slash like fit beginner class, and you didn't teach handstands today. You're not a very good teacher. Why would you be teaching handstands in a fit beginner class? That wasn't the title of your class. People aren't going to come to your class wanting to learn handstands, you know, unless you put that like, hey, this is an intermediate class and we're going to be learning handstands and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to come to your class and think that. The lesson of today is whatever your perceived limitation is, because it's perceived, it is your asset. It is your biggest asset. Embrace it. Embrace it. I was a drug addict. I'm going to admit it. I was a drug addict. I was addicted to crystal meth. I was addicted to alcohol for years and years and years, and cigarettes, and I still want to smoke cigarettes. I still want to. I'm not, but I want to. So there you have it. Does that make me a shitty yoga teacher? You don't want to take yoga from me? Then fine. I wouldn't want somebody in my training who doesn't like me because of that, because I wouldn't have any fun teaching that person. It would suck. You know what I mean? So let's just be ourselves. This is another thing. Sorry, this is the last thing. I've had a lot of teachers over the years, especially male teachers, that have fallen from grace because I found out who they really were. That's happened in the yoga world a lot, and in the world in general, right? But in the yoga world, it's especially disheartening because we put our teachers up on a pedestal. And then they fall from grace, and we're like, what the fuck, man? Everything that I thought I knew was a lie, right? And it just makes everything come crumbling down. So my theory is, I'm just going to lay it all out there. I'm going to start right here. Everybody kind of knows all my shit. The only way I have to go is up. Be like, I told you I was human. I know. I told you I was human this whole time. It's your fault if you thought that I was anything other than that. I am going to fuck up sometimes, right? Everybody who knows me knows we're not perfect, and I'm not going to try to be. It's way too much energy to try to be perfect. So if you want a perfect yoga teacher, you might as well just keep on going, because I'm not it. All right? And I don't expect any of you guys to be it. Nobody wants perfect. Perfect's boring. Perfect's fucking boring. It's so like 2000, okay? Let's move into, 2020 and beyond. All right, you guys, have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to comment on this video. And I love you all. You are all perfect in your imperfectness. And let's get out there and kick some ass today, y'all. All right? Okay. Bye.